Welcome to the More Than Ball Show. This is episode 39. Shout out House of Nay Saga, supported by Spotify. I'm your host, Paige, and here's your host, Shakila.
Co-host Shakila
in
is
the
back.
live and flesh. Welcome back.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Good. Good to be back.
Yeah?
Except the weather is
Not the same.
it's not the same. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here in London, but
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad
not
to
summer.
be back. See family,
Yeah.
see friends.
What was it like seeing your mum after?
Yeah,
what,
I haven't
5
seen her
months?
since Christmas. But I've been traveling my whole life, so not obviously I missed her, but you know, it was time to come home, and I'm glad that I'm back.
So remind us of your season. You were dominating the whole season, and then yeah.
So I went to Greece in September, played all the way until February, came back 2 times during that period, and then I tore my Achilles in February, the day after my birthday. Great. And I decided to stay in Greece, and I think at that moment, and also looking back now, I think that was the best decision that I could have made. I've been in London for about 3 days now, and I'm ready to go back to Greece.
Really?
Yeah, the weather, honestly, it does a lot.
It changes your
It really
mental.
does. Like, yeah. And just, I'm doing the same things every day because this rehab is so, like, tedious. So you've got to keep on track to stay. Like, I want to play again, and I have to do the calf raises every day and do the stretches. But the sun, it honestly helped me.
It changes,
It
yeah.
helped me a lot. And I think that after talking with Sevian, because she dealt with the same thing, she also ruptured her Achilles about 2 years ago. She was like, listen, Shaq, you have to decide and do whatever's best for you. And I weighed out the pros and the cons, and I was like, I think I'm going to stay. Yes, I love my family and my friends, and it would have been helpful to be here in England, but I feel like
the focus.
Yeah, and I learned to be more independent because there was things that, like, I realised that I could do, and I did it, and I'm fine. And now I'm home, I'm like, okay, I can do anything, so.
That's good. It's quite interesting you say, like, how impactful that decision was, and it's literally like just a climate difference changes a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In your decision making. But moving forward, what does the future look like, if you want to discuss?
Yeah.
Or is it like, how's the rehab going? Is it like, just where are we today?
So I've spoke to a lot of professional basketball players. Shea Petty was one of them who played at London Lions, who also suffered a Achilles rupture.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they kind of warn you, okay, it's going to be a long process. And I'm 3 months now post-op. And something so simple as a single leg calf raise, I'm not able to do yet. So I'm trying to, like, look at it step by step. Okay, last month I wasn't able to walk, and now I'm walking with 2 shoes on and not a boot and no crutches.
Look at that, not hopping around.
Not hopping around. So I'm grateful, and I'm ready to move on to the next phase, should I say.
Yeah.
But they've also, all the people I talked to was also teaching me about being patient, and that is something that I've always struggled with. So I think that this injury will teach me to be more patient.
Could be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you want to play back in Greece? Maybe try a different team.
Oh, look at you trying to get the inside scoop. So,
you don't need to answer if you
no,
don't.
I can answer.
Yeah.
I love my team. Honestly, like, we have a really young team, really talented young players, young Greek players, and I was the only foreigner until I got hurt, and then we got another foreigner. But I can see myself going back there because a lot of the girls will come back, will play again. And I feel like I've got unfinished business.
Yeah.
Because we did end up winning. So we lost 2 games all season, but we did end up winning the whole thing. So now we've got promoted and we moved up to Division 1. So
you're part of that. Yeah,
and I stayed to the end, and you know, I got the medal at the end. And I still feel like part of the team. There was never a moment where I didn't feel like I belonged. Yeah. And I do feel like I want to go back and finish what
I love that. I'm excited.
Finish.
You mentioned that your teammates were quite young, right?
Yes.
So how important is that feeling of, okay, I might be a vet on this team, but these girls are going to grow with me. Like, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So it's not a sense of new season, new team kind of feel like we got to learn everything new again? Like, how beneficial is that?
I feel like that's really important.
Yeah.
For example, London Lions, like, they kept the core. They had Shanice and Kat and Holly returning. Okay, they didn't get exactly where they wanted with qualifying for EuroLeague, but they was able to use that core that they had to win the rest of the season or every other game after the EuroLeague. So I think that team chemistry is important. Team bonding and all of that stuff will help, because obviously I know the girls and I'm going back to the same team, and it's also, you're more comfortable, so it's easier to play. It's easier to play like that. But definitely the team, I think it will help going back to the same team, especially after my injury. They was with me during my hardest time, so I feel like I owe it to them.
You owe it to yourself
and to myself to finish out what I started.
That's exciting. Guys, watch this space. Some exciting stuff coming out of Shaquila. So is there a time we might see you back, or is it just like play by ear at this point?
It is kind of like it's so like step by step. So once I've completed this step, and then I can move on to the next one. So
it's really no saying.
Yeah. So like Kobe was back, I think it took him 10 months. Kelsey Plum took 8 months. So
depends on your body.
Depends on your body. Depends who you are. Like
depends on your rehab.
There's two other people that I know that have tore their Achilles, and everyone, we all did it in the same like time. And we're all at different stages, exactly.
Because Kane is like running and jumping up and down.
I've heard about this, and I'm just walking. And then our other friend Chanel, she's she had her surgery before us, but she's on a different level than. It just depends on the athlete, like, so there's no rushing, but they say 6 to 12 months. It can be anywhere from them.
Well, we're hoping 6.
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping too, but we'll see.
Okay, let's transition into the W.
But speaking of what you just said, you were saying about playing with younger players and being the vet on the team. I feel like it's not exactly the same, but related to the W, because we have some, like, I don't know how to say it, maybe feuds going on with the rookies and the vets, and
it's a bit spicy in
there, isn't it? A little. You just sent me this thing on Instagram of it was Kate Martin's birthday, but I think that prank was a little bit harsh.
You think so?
Yeah, I didn't really like it.
Oh, but do you know why I sent it to you?
Why?
Because we were always late.
Okay, yeah, and always. Fair enough. Maybe that's why I'm a bit traumatized. I didn't like it. But basically, the video is a clip of Kate Martin on her birthday, and the Las Vegas Aces, they left her.
Yeah.
And she was running after the bus, and I felt so sad for her.
Do you know, out of all the rookies, I think she's having the easiest time.
Yeah.
Especially in the media. Like people really got her back. But as you said, there are feuds going on. How do you feel about the Angel and the Caitlyn and the back and forth, like who brought eyes onto the W?
Yeah. And
I can see the vets getting pissed off, because it's like, bro, we've been doing this for years. Do you know what I mean? Like, now suddenly these girls just come in and you feel like, do you know? I can see why they can be pissed off. But what's your thoughts on all of that?
I hear what Angel's saying, as in, like, okay, it's not just one person had made eyes come onto the W. But I was listening to something that Alicia Clark said. She plays for the Vegas Aces. She didn't play in the W until she was 25. And she was saying how it was always the same, like, regardless of what age you are, who you are, blah, blah, blah. A rookie is a rookie. They're going to get the same rookie treatment from the vets. Like, it's their job. It's their job to
toughen you up.
Yeah. Like, there's no, like, it's not because she's Caitlin Clark or because she's Angel Reese. Okay, but I must say that the hit on Alyssa Thomas hit Angel Reese, and I would say that was a bit
too much. Yeah.
And also Caitlin Clark got kind of shoved by Kennedy.
Yeah. I think some of it is uncalled for. I don't feel like the media portrayal helps any of this. I think the rookies just want to play and be treated like a rookie.
Yeah.
And the vets want to give them that exact treatment. And I think the media's just like blowing it out of proportion. Like, you've been a rookie before. I've been a rookie before. It's in the SEC.
Not that fun.
No. So definitely see where everyone's coming from. But I feel like the media need to stop saying, like, the villain and like, they need to stop this comparison and just enjoy the fact that people are watching women's basketball and analyze the game instead of who brought in the most fans.
Right.
Because that's not necessary.
No, but I must say that I do analyse their outfits. I am one.
Well, whose outfit is...
I mean, Angel's... Oh, meh. I think Angel's is probably my favourite. It's like...
Angel is so iconic. I love... Even when she can't even walk in the
hills.
That
was hilarious. I'm not sure why she went with that outfit, but she looked cute. But
looked amazing,
and I loved how honest she was. She was like, what did she say? A baddie can't
stay in heels for too
long. I thought that was great.
The heels were high.
They was very high.
Yeah. Shout out her because she's not a small girl either. So I love her outfits.
Yeah.
I like Asia's, but maybe that's just because I'm an Asia fan.
Maybe.
So. Maybe. A bit of bias there.
All of the Vegas girls, they all
show
dress,
up. Pretty cool. Not a fan of Caitlin's, surprisingly.
I don't think so either. Like, I agree with you. I feel like they're kind of just giving her clothes and it doesn't really fit her.
It's not for her body.
She doesn't look comfortable in it.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's the most important thing. Like, if she look good, you feel comfortable.
Yeah, because if she showed up in like a tracksuit or whatever, but if she was the way she would walk with swag with it, and that's what she would enjoy doing, then I'd be like, she's owning it.
Yeah.
You can't throw clothes on a person and expect them to, you know what I mean, show out if it's not them. So that's that. But I am enjoying the outfits and how everyone's into the outfits also. A lot of eyes on the outfits. Let us know who's got your eye. What games have you been tuning into for the W?
Okay, I'm a bit biased, but definitely Phoenix Sun.
Kiki!
Not Phoenix Sun, sorry. Phoenix Mercury. Kiki! Hey, girl. Yeah, London Lions player.
How much do you miss her?
Is now not that much. Okay, I'm lying. Yeah, it's like the amount of teams that I've played on, and then like the fact that you can make like such a good connection. Yeah. So it's important, like when you're overseas, it's to make these connections, and then that is exactly how we was talking before about going back to Greece, having these relationships with the girls. I feel like it will be good to start. But yeah, back to Phoenix. I've been watching them. I would say that Diana Taurasi has really been showing out.
Yeah, she wanna shut people up.
She really has been showing out. She's
saying she's not a fossil.
They shoot a lot of threes. Phoenix.
I've seen that. Yeah,
a lot of.
I've seen Kiki make a lot. So
yeah, and they make a lot. So
yeah,
Kalia Copper's made a lot of points. She was player of the week the other week. Very good player. She also played with her hair down. I was a bit confused about that.
Are you allowed to?
I mean, you can do what you want, I guess. People have nails and stuff, and
the game has changed.
The game has changed. Nose rings. And...
Yeah, insane. Yeah, it's actually quite insane.
Yeah.
But okay, speaking of like connections and that, Jabari Parker played for the Celtics and first year overseas. He's definitely a league player, but had to deal with a lot of injuries, so it made his league playing time short.
He was he was playing for the Celtics.
Yeah. I think it's either 2020 or 21 season.
Okay, so recently.
Recent years, yeah. And then it would have been last season because this is his first year overseas. They interviewed him and he can't get a word out of the experience, what he's going through. And it looks like it's coming from a place of shock. Like where he is away from home. Do you want to see the clip?
Yeah, because it's a different world. Like, okay, we talk about how the women, they play in the W and then they go straight to overseas. Like, they're playing
we never
throughout.
Really touch on that.
We don't talk about it, but the men, like, when they have to experience that, this is hard. It's really difficult out here.
Well, globally, one statement about this first year outside United States.
Yeah.
In terms of basketball and in terms of life.
Oh no. I'm wondering when this was in the season that they asked him this. Like, was it at the end?
What's
yeah,
wrong,
it was
boy?
like literally the other day.
Because he really, like, okay, so at the end of the season, because he's really breaking down.
Yeah. Ultimately, he doesn't get a word out.
That's tough to watch. That is difficult to watch, and especially for a man. And we don't really talk about mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what? There's been a lot of like highlights on playing overseas, and we see that in kind of quotes, like people put out quote messages about like check on your overseas player.
Yes.
And one thing I felt like coming from London and playing in America, it wasn't highlighted how hard it was as an 18-year-old to leave her whole,
because we're young. Nobody,
right, no one really talks about that part. But when it's now America coming over, suddenly it gets all media attention, whereas it's vice versa. Do you know what I mean? What I like about this is that it highlights it to everyone, so no matter where you go, let you be 18, 16 playing in Europe, or 21 coming to Europe or whatever, you're going to experience some sort of culture change. And I think this is, now that everyone's seeing that, it's important to everyone to make sure they check in with their players and their family. And it's not easy.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing for you, whether when you went to Ole Miss or playing in, you went Hungary, right? You went everywhere. Spain.
Yeah, I've been Hungary, Spain.
Yeah.
Germany.
So what was the hardest?
Okay, I would definitely say any country is language barrier. And there's just so many cultures that you don't know exactly everything about people's cultures, and you don't want to do things wrong, and you might make your neighbor upset, or like, for example, it might be a bit TMI, but in Greece, you can't flush the tissue down the toilet. You have to put it in the bin. Yeah, very strange. But like nobody told me these things.
Yeah. So what happened? Did it?
No, it didn't block. Oh. But we went out somewhere. Like I think we went bowling, and I seen it written. It was like, "Don't flush the toilet." And I was like to my teammates, "Why does it say that?" It was like, "Yeah, you're not supposed to put the tissue."
And they're looking at you like you're.
They're looking at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like,
"Oh, see, yeah."
And just like they're not making fun of me, but they're like, "This is so normal for us," and I'm like, "This is not normal at all. Like this is really different for me." But I've been playing overseas since I was 18, and then before that I was playing for the national team, so I was traveling basically from when I was 13, so
getting to know different cultures.
Yes. And okay, we're European, but it's different. I think being English is a bit different from being like from Bulgaria, or being even from Greece, for example. Like Giannis, when he went straight to the league, like he's a completely different person now. Yeah, and I think the hardest thing was just leaving family. Like when I left the country, like for good, like a long period of time, I was 17. My sister left at 17. I left at 18. We was really young, which we were children when you think about it. And like you said, nobody's really talking about it until like we're overseas, like we're professional players. We're now adults. And if the fact that he is reacting like this, it just shows
how traumatized it is.
And this is what, about 10 years ago, I went to college, and mental health wasn't really talked about that much. We just kind of had to deal with stuff.
It was almost normal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I went to Spain when I was 13.
Yes.
So that whole situation where it was like, it was almost normalized to be in that situation and get over it. It wasn't a situation where you cry and you go home. It was more of like, because a lot of the guys struggled, and I feel like because there were so many of us in Spain, we kind of all struggled together, so we were helping each other out. In instances for you where you might be the only European at Ole Miss, the only European on your team, that's different because no one can relate to you. I feel like me, 13, I'm young, but I was surrounded by people who were still going through it with me. Yeah. So it's kind of like we had each other, even though it was still hard at 13. Like, wow, like when I think about it, I'll never let a 13-year-old.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of.
To Spain, like I don't even speak Spanish. I was learning French in school. Like it was just like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's so many different barriers to make you feel alone in those situations. Literally how he feels alone in that. He's now left his family, left the country, learning how they operate and things like that. In America, it's pretty much their own world. Yeah. So that's all you know. And then now you're kicked out of it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. And I feel like, would you say it's worth having more conversations with those players in a sense of more podcasts, like hearing their story and would you say it would be worth it?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like when I first started to play in Europe, like live in Europe, okay, living in America, you learn how to adapt. They speak English. That's helpful. When I first played overseas, should I say, in Europe, nothing was really posted. Social media wasn't so big. This is 2017. Okay, it was kind of big. But
where did you go straight out of college?
Italy.
Italy
Was my first year. Yeah. And I remember like going on YouTube and looking for like vlogs to see like what did people do. The lifestyle, and it's just so different now, that it is there's TikTok, the Instagram is more popular and people are talking about it more. Like, so I think we're moving in the right direction, but I feel like there needs to be more. Like,
needs to be more, absolutely. It's actually crazy, man. But okay, talking about the NBA now, right? So who have you got? Predictions? We got the Mavs or...
No, I'm joking. I was going to say Lakers.
I got Lakers. No, not going nowhere. We've got Mavs or Celtics. So I feel like the Celtics, right? I feel like they do enough to win a game. They don't really, to me, show out, which they haven't really had to. So they've done enough to win. Porzingis is back.
Yeah.
He's been out for God knows how long. Do you feel like him now being back changes the dynamic on the court?
For sure. Like, I feel like we watched the game before, and Kawhi Leonard, when he played with the Clippers, it's a different game. Okay, he's obviously, they need him to win, but
it changes everyone else's.
It changes the way everyone else plays, because you've not got James Harden doing whatever he wants to do. Paul George is not doing what he wants to do. You know, you've got to adjust a little bit. So it's going to change the team. Yes, Porzingis is going to be helpful, but maybe it will affect the team negatively. And they haven't played with him for so long. So they've learned how to adapt, and now they're going to have to go back.
I would say one thing what is in their favour is that he's not coming back in the middle of a series and it's at the very beginning.
Yeah, that's true.
Because imagine like in the middle, it's kind of like we've been playing like this, it's been working or it hasn't been working, now you need to try and fix it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then the matchups, like you're going to have to learn how to change with the matchups, but now it's like new start, new team. Yeah, you're right.
And they've had some time off also, which is exciting. He is definitely needed to help them. He does bring a lot, but at the same time, like you said, it can be either or. Like at this point, we've been in the postseason for God knows how long without you. We've kind of adjusted like this and we've made it work.
Yeah.
Now you coming back, you might pressurize yourself too much.
True.
You know what I mean? So there's so much. I'm kind of nervous. Guys, just to let you know, we will be streaming every single NBA game live on Playmaker. So make sure you subscribe to us and lock in. Be a part of the community. We be there. Anyway, so yeah, cool. So I'm not too sure about Porzingis coming back. I think overall it's beneficial, but I'm just not too sure whether it's gonna work or not. And I'm not sure what the Celtics game plan is. I think ultimately they're not trying to win game one. I think they are trying to obviously like win the series, but tire Luka out. So tire him out by like 7 games at least, so he can't do nothing. But I think all eyes are on Kyrie. So Kyrie has played Celtics I think maybe 4 times since he's left. Everyone's talking about redemption story, how he's like, how racist the Celtics are, the fans, sorry, not the actual organization. And what is your thoughts? So say you've left the team, right? In fact, let's take it all the way back, because there's so much chit chat about Kyrie. Say you won a chip with London Lions. Kyrie won a chip with LeBron. Now you feel like you're in his shadow. You leave to make your own name. People are gunning you for that, right? So you go to the Celtics, doesn't work out. You go to Brooklyn, doesn't work out. And now you're at the Mavs. And now you're in a situation where you're still doing dynamic duo, but not with LeBron, but with Luka, right? So basically you're back in the same situation you were in. Do you feel like you did the right choice, or do you think you should have just stayed? Because ultimately as a player, you just want to win championships, right?
No. I feel like he made the right decision to move. I mean, he's back in the finals.
Yeah.
When was the last time he was in the finals?
It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Yeah.
I feel like he is going to get his revenge. I wouldn't say necessarily revenge, but he's going to get something. And it depends. Like if he plays good, I feel like Luka will play good. So we need him to step up.
Absolutely. I think Luca wants it for him and for himself. And I think the whole revenge story and people saying, oh, we owe Kyrie a apology, and some people saying they don't because of whatever happened off the court and stuff. I feel like what has happened for a reason. I feel like he needed, like, he might turn back and say, yeah, I shouldn't have left LeBron James. But he needed to go through that journey of finding himself and being the player he is. Because now I feel like so many people can relate to Kyrie on a human level because of all the mistakes people say he has made, and how things like Nike deal done, like the way his life has portrayed, people wouldn't see it like that. They'd be like, he's immature, he's this, that, and the third. But he's matured in a way where it's now got him to a final. Do you know what I mean? And he still believes in what he believes in. I think that was important. So I don't feel like, I think two things can be true. I feel like, yes, if Hadiov stayed at the Cavs, he would have won another chip with LeBron. And I feel like, yes, him leaving has benefited him as a player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you got to find yourself.
Of course, you never know until you try.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could always say, what if he had stayed? Maybe they would have. But maybe they wouldn't have. So, I think he's made the right choice.
Interesting. And I want to see him win. I say Mavs in 6.
You do?
What do you say?
I say Mavs in 4.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. Mavs in 6.
Mavs in 6. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Eamon will kill me if I said Mavs in 4.
Eamon's even mad that we say Mavs. Eamon is not having that. But I definitely do want to see... I feel like we'll have more to talk about next week after we see the first set of games.
Because they haven't played in a while.
No. Yeah. So their first game is
tomorrow.
Friday. Thursday night, Friday.
Yeah.
It's okay, so it's tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow, but Friday morning for us.
Okay.
The days are so messed up.
Yeah.
I finally got my sleeping schedule back to normal.
And
somewhat.
now it's gonna get back to unnormal.
Yeah, yeah. So, guys in the UK, if you need a way to stay up, I don't know how, but chat to us on Playmaker. We'll be streaming the game live, so be there.
Live.
All right, cool. So we've got a little game segment coming up. And Ollie's about to explain.
So we're just going to play the silent game. Only speak when you see a player better than what's on the screen.
No, I'm just joking.
So any player better than Luca, we shall speak.
Yeah.
Any sound?
So let's go from now.
Why do I want to laugh? I don't know what's happening. That's not my sound, by the way. Are you guys going to shout at me? I don't even know who that is.
Shaq, shush then. Can we discuss this?
This one was a hard one because you put Luca first. Okay, this is my sound. I am Dwayne Wade.
D-Wade better than Luca Magic. Ooh, I think what Luca can produce is still better.
Oh, that's it.
Right.
Oh, all right.
But this is a good one. Because it's kind of like Luca v Wade. I feel like Luca will still win, but that's not to belittle what Wade can do. Like, that's not saying like Wade is not that guy. Like, he's goated for sure. But no, Luca, I still feel like because we've seen everything Wade is, Luca still has more. And I feel like, yeah. I don't know. It's just a bit tough for me. I don't like it. But okay, so that was nice, short and sweet. Is there anything else you want to speak on?
No.
It's been a good episode. Clean cut. All right, bye.